Is Season 2 of The Wheel of Time actually good? Well, some of us have been saying that the entire time.
We sure did.
If you've been watching this channel for a while, you probably know that Amazon Studios' version of The Wheel of Time is certainly, well, divisive among fans. Season 1 went over like a lead balloon among some segments of the fan base, with complaints ranging from cuts to the source material, to characters not acting like their book counterparts, to some very dramatic changes to the story itself that were designed to make the show feel more like an ensemble rather than the Rand Al Thor show. We're now over halfway through Season 2 of The Wheel of Time, and while there certainly are some detractors still present on the internet, more and more people seem to be coming around to the idea that the show itself is actually a lot of fun, even if it doesn't actually remotely resemble the books it's based off of. Rotten Tomatoes actually rates Season 2 as higher than Season 1, which means that critics think that the show is better, and social media has actually been pretty positive towards The Wheel of Time. The latest episode, for instance, and spoilers here, if you don't want any spoilers, move away now.
You were born!
The latest episode went full thirst trap, and fans were going gaga over Lanfear and Ishmael and even pretty boy Dane Bornhold. I mean, Dane Bornhold of all people, and people were just like, yeah, I'd let him show me the light, or I'm not going to look up any of the Dane Bornhold tweets, but I'm sure they are out there. Now, despite the fact that the show has really gone off the reservation in terms of the plot, at least compared to the books, Wheel of Time has seen a lot of positive trends on Twitter and social media, and even the long, crotchety Wheel of Time subreddits are reacting positively to episodes. Check it out. I mean, comments there are pretty, at least tame, if not straight up positive about every episode. So why the change? Well, first and foremost, Wheel of Time Season 2 didn't have COVID, disrupting production and possibly causing some big shifts in the show. Season 1 was disjointed at the best of times, and a lot of that had to do with COVID interrupting the production schedule and possibly even causing one of the main characters to depart the show halfway through filming. Secondly, while the plot of the show is still very different from the books, the way that the various cultures and the factions are portrayed, they're all actually pretty excellent. The Shan Chan are amazing, for instance, and the show is leaning more into the weird bits that make Wheel of Time so endearing rather than just, generic fantasy fluff. Also, I think that, frankly, there's more of a general acceptance that the show is just going to be very different from the books. They're trying to stuff in a lot of plot into a handful of seasons and a handful of episodes. And honestly, the uncertainty of what's going to happen and whether or not the show is going to stick to something that resembles the books, that uncertainty, it's actually kind of fun in some way. It's kind of cool just seeing like what weird thing is going to go next and what they're going to keep and what they're going to get rid of. And honestly, I will also say that in some ways, the show is actually kind of an improvement on the books. For instance, the Forsaken. They're actually pretty dangerous in the show, and if you've read the books, you know that the Forsaken are always talked up as a big threat, but in reality, especially during like the first 8 or 9 books of the series, they're kind of incompetent and don't do a lot. Like here, the Forsaken are a threat. We know they're a threat, and we see them, and they're dangerous, and we're just happy that, our heroes, encounter the Forsaken and don't, end up with their head blown off. I mean, personally, we stan a Lanfear who is both horrifying and also that obsessive ex that you had in high school. Honestly, she's much better than the books. Love her to death. Still, we will admit there are still some doubts that remain in the show, and we share some of those. For instance, the latest season has paired up Matt with Min and Perrin with Avahendra, and some folks are already shipping these travel companions. Could the show be heading to a Sophie's Choice, where they have to decide between pissing off the casuals who ship these new couples who, you know how people are, they're going to ship who they're going to ship. So are they going to, piss off the casuals who like the new couples, or are they going to upset the book fans who believe in the OTQ, and, that stands for One True Quartet, if you know what I mean. Well, regardless, at least Elaine seems to be safe from the shipping wars, and she's my favorite character from the books, so I think we're all good, Also, side note, Elaine might be some of the best casting of the show yet. Honestly, all the casting in Season 2 has been really, really, really solid. Anyways, if you haven't given Season 2 of Wheel of Time a try yet, maybe you should. As long as you turn off the Wheel of Time wiki part of your brain, you'll probably like it. So let us know if you've been enjoying the new season in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.